The views and opinions expressed on the following program are those of the host and guests and do not necessarily reflect the policy or position of ONTV's management, staff, or board of directors.
Detroit basketball.
All right, hello and welcome into Views from the Sideline. We got Malik Hill, I'm Joey Tysick, and we are back after the March Madness podcast. Took a little bit of a hiatus after that big, long, fun podcast that we always do. And so now there's tons of news to talk about after the tournament is now into the waning hours. We had the Final Four and the championship this weekend. Michigan and Michigan State, however, did not make it to the Final Four, but they got pretty close. They both made some good runs. So let's start with Michigan. I think just because, spoiler alert, they got out just a round earlier. Malik, how do you feel about Michigan, what they did, what their outlook maybe even to next season's looking like so far? How do you feel about the whole performance?
So, although it was probably the most frustrating good team I've ever seen in my life, every game you never knew how they were going to play, when they were going to be good, when the turnovers were going to happen, and everything just fell apart. They kept finding ways to win throughout the season, and Dusty May did a great job with the first year as a coach. Just brought together a brand new roster, two returning guys, Will Cheddar and Jace Howard, and Namari Burnett too. I forgot him, and Namari Burnett. But overall it's hard to put it in perspective because it was year one. And it was so unpredictable, like every single game. Mm-hmm. But the finishing product, I mean, I can't be upset. Sweet 16 appearance, tough first round game. Second round, they kind of handled Texas A&M in the second round. They out-rebounded the best offensive rebounding team in the country, it was probably their best win of the season. Yeah, that game against Texas A&M. And Auburn honestly gave them chances to do it, but if it seemed like they were out of gas, and they didn't have much left in that game. Trey Donaldson really didn't show up. He's in the transfer portal now, and they got a new point guard. But it was an interesting season and a pretty good first year. Vlad Golden was really good. Danny Wolf was either like great or below average to bad. There was not much middle ground for Danny Wolf. Yeah, he might be going to the draft. Yeah, it was an interesting season and a success overall for the first year, and I wasn't upset when they lost to Auburn. Yeah, like Todd Pettiford just put on a show like the last 5 minutes of that game. He was hitting all types of crazy shots off of ISOs, and Auburn was just too powerful, and they proved it in the next game. Yeah, and we'll get to Michigan State, but yeah, I can't be upset with the first season. I like what Dusty did. Like I said, also, although it was unpredictable a lot at times, I'm looking forward to next season, and he's already doing work in the portal, and he has Trey McKinney coming in, who was one of the best players one of the best scorers from the state of Michigan in a long time. Honestly, maybe since Rocket Watts, he was a high-level scorer coming out of the state of Michigan. But yeah, good. A lot of things to look forward to for Michigan going to next year.
Yeah, and we'll see. A lot of people are talking pretty highly about the transfers that they can get. They've already gotten.
Yeah. They already got Elliot Cadeau and Morez Johnson from North Carolina and Illinois.
And that's the one thing that people think Dusty May might be able to do better than a lot of other coaches. So we'll have to kind of wait and see. The Big Ten is moving pretty quickly and at a fast pace, so we'll see what happens. I think it's going to be even more competitive next year, which is going to be a lot of fun. We already saw Bennett Sturts is going to go to Iowa, which is cool.
Ben McCollum, Bennett Sturts followed along.
So we're going to get to go. We're going to get to see them. Yeah. In more action in prime time.
If Iowa comes to Ann Arbor, we should get a ticket.
Yeah,
we should go see them.
That would be fun.
Bennett starts up close, and also Nico Medved at Minnesota, a low key great coaching hire. Yeah, he was an assistant at Minnesota, did a really good job at Colorado State. Minnesota could come back soon.
Yeah, and then so Michigan State, they started off. They went against Bryant, looked a little bit shaky in the opening minutes, looked a little concerning, and then they kind of pulled away at the end. No big deal. Did what they needed to do. New Mexico, kind of the same way, which is
Yeah. If New Mexico showed up in the second half, it would have got really scary. But they fell off in the second half, besides Donovan Dent.
Yeah, that's basically kind of how Michigan State has played. They've been a really good second half team.
Their defense was a part of it.
What's his name? Nelly Joseph Day?
Nelly Jr. Joseph.
Junior Joseph,
Yeah.
jeez.
Hell of a name.
Him fouling out, I think, was a key thing
Yeah.
in that game against New Mexico because he was making a lot of shots, making a lot of troublesome spots for Michigan State's defense. But they got it done in that game. Kind of at the end, again, kind of cruised to a victory, somewhat. Ole Miss, kind of the same thing. Ole Miss came into the game shooting really well, and they did not disappoint in that. That one was a tough one. Seemed for a long time that Michigan State was in trouble, and they kind of just hung around, were a bit annoying, I think. And that's kind of how they played all season, and they pulled out the victory late.
Another instance where guys just hit shots when they needed to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the Auburn game was a big disappointment in my mind. I thought they had a good opportunity to beat Auburn, and it
seemed like they ran out of gas too, kind of.
Yeah.
It was a tough matchup, but they also, like, Trey Holloman didn't really show up.
Jaden Akins pulled a Clemson where he took way too long to get going, and then at the end of the game, it's like a little too late.
Yeah, and then Jace Richardson was up and down. He wasn't like lights out
and
he's been.
I think that's where we saw the quote unquote problem with Jace Richardson is that he's not a takeover kind of guy. He's a really good player.
He has been at moments.
At times.
He has been at moments.
But
more during the regular season, but he scored 20, I think, twice in the tournament. So.
Yeah, but the way that he scores 20 is not. I don't know. I don't know how to describe it because
it's not like an in-your-face takeover. I understand what you're saying.
And he's not like as aggressive necessarily at times.
Yeah, he picks his moments.
Yeah.
Which, as a freshman two guard, I can understand.
So that's where I think Michigan State's problem has always lied is like, and I said it during the game. I was texting family and I said, unfortunately, Jackson Kohler cannot be your best player on the floor.
And it was awesome seeing him step up like that against Janai Broome.
They needed that.
He could have an amazing senior year.
Yes, they needed that from Jackson Kohler.
There was no
but
secondary.
He was the best player on the floor.
Yeah,
it's kind of like the old Andre Drummond days of the Pistons where I said he can't be your best player on the floor. You need somebody else to step up and be better.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if somebody like Jace had like a 25-point game and Jackson Kohler stepped up in that game, similar to how Cohen Carr did against was it New Mexico that he had the big game?
Yeah, I think so.
Then that would be fine. So we'll see. And that's kind of another question is Cohen Carr, I think he had a really good tournament. I think he figured out a way to be productive for this team. And we kind of saw it down the stretch of the season as well. But
staying around the paint, that's just his.
Yeah, just hustle plays.
He's more athletic than everybody on the floor.
He got so many offensive rebounds, so many putbacks.
He hit a few threes too, and he looked pretty comfortable.
Yeah, and I'm okay with him shooting it every once in a while, but I just don't think he's going to get good enough to be that high-level shooter that I think some people thought he potentially could be. So, yeah, it was disappointing to see the way that they ended against Auburn just because, once again, you saw the potential that I think they could have beat them, and they had no answer for Janai Broome. Their defense looked lackluster at times. They weren't closing out well enough. They were doing weird switching, leading to open threes, and it was just kind of frustrating to watch. But either way, great run. I don't think this team had more expectations, I think, before the season started, I guess, or leading into the season, but they really turned into one of the better teams in the last few years. Now, it's going to be even weirder next year, I think. Trey Holloman is transferring. Xavier Booker is transferring.
That was a given.
That's no surprise. He got to literally no playtime.
He just wasn't a fit.
That just goes back to what we've been talking about for a while. Either the development of the staff or him it's not clicking. So hopefully we can see him, maybe do better in the future. But now I think that's the big thing is like, will Michigan State go after somebody?
They need to.
That's kind of the big question. I agree.
With Jace up in the air, like I don't see the choice.
I don't see Jace coming back because he's at that point. Like, I feel like he's at the point of like what Hunter Dickinson was way back when. Like, I don't know if he can help his draft stock anymore unless he like ascends to that even next level. But I'm afraid there's could be some weird regression for him or stay the same, and then he gets pushed back because new guys come in on the draft board. And I think his stock is just so high right now. I don't know why he would come back personally. So we'll see there. The one name that I did see is R.J. Lewis transferring out of St. John's. That would
be a hell of a pickup if Izzo could do it.
Of the
It'd be a
listed
perfect
teams,
thing, too.
Michigan State was a listed team, so that would be a big surprise for me to see Michigan State go and do that. But it would be nice. So we'll see going forward. But a lot of question marks for this team going into next year. Will Izzo use the transfer portal? Because he's getting to that point where he has to. Like I said, the rest of the Big Ten is making a lot of big moves. And if you don't adjust to the times, you're going to fall behind. So that's kind of the thing for me. And the other disappointing part, too, was Michigan State regressed back to their normal three-point shooting of, like, just looking awful shooting the basketball.
Yeah.
And, yeah, you can run up and down the floor with almost any team, but at some point you got to be able to hit shots.
When they never got those Trey Holloman hot streaks, which he gave them a lot of hot streaks during the season.
Yeah.
If they didn't get those, then the offense got rough.
Yeah, and that was my big concern about Jaden Akins, too. Like, he had not looked good all season. Like, he was supposed to be that guy the last couple years that was supposed to take that next step and be the leader of this team. And maybe he was, emotionally and mentally as a leader, but on the floor,
the game never
I
went
just
to another
never
level.
saw it.
Yeah.
So that's a big kind of a disappointment. But, again, all things considered, I think it was a great run. And there's some excitement around these teams, I think. I think that's the biggest part is Michigan and Michigan State could be back, which is fun.
Before we move on to the rest of the tournament, I feel like Jeremy Fears is like the X factor going into their next season because
and I think he closed well the season.
But his reluctance to shoot, it was alarming in those last few games, even though they were still winning. But it was. I wonder if he can like build that confidence back up because he seemed more aggressive as a freshman. Before the incident happened, but Now I did see some aggressiveness, like at least attacking the basket and stuff in the tournament, which was nice that I hadn't felt like I've seen from him in a little bit. And obviously he seems to make the right play a lot. He finds guys that are open, so that's good. But yeah, I think he needs to get a little bit more aggressive, at least shooting the ball more comfortable. Because again, somebody's got to do it. We got to figure out somebody to shoot the basketball. So that'll be interesting. But yeah, the rest of the tournament, it was a weird tournament. Far less upsets. This is the second time that all 4 1 seeds have made the Final Four. So it was very chalky. And then the other problem, not even that there was no big upsets. Like, sure, McNeese was an upset, but it really wasn't that surprising. The way they did it maybe was a little surprising. Clemson not showing up. Clemson just didn't show yet.
Was surprising and frustrating for you and I. But there wasn't that many close games even. So there wasn't even like a chance at like, oh, maybe this team could upset and then they don't. There's just so many blowouts.
Teams took care of business for the most part.
Yeah, and I don't know. Do you think that's just kind of random, or do you think that goes to show the power level of the bigger conferences now with NIL being able to pull guys from mid-majors because they can just offer guys money?
I've seen people come in with these theories. I don't think so. This has happened before.
Yeah.
Because people are so obsessed with and used to seeing like 2 or 3 like major upsets a year, people forget that this also happens where it's like the chalk stuff and it's like mostly 1 and 2 seeds and there aren't a ton of upsets. Like this is also a part of the tournament. Just because like upsets have become like the main thing that some casuals like people that always watch the tournament and love basketball, they weren't upset with this tournament. I've seen a lot of people say like they've enjoyed the basketball because of like top teams matching up. But I don't think it's NIL is a factor. This happens from time to time.
I'm kind of with you. I'm a little bit mixed because I feel like maybe there's a chance that it is the shift. But at the same time, we saw Drake take 3 Division II players and knock off a power team.
Yeah.
We knew Drake would be good, so it wasn't like a surprise upset, but it was still an upset nonetheless. And then you think about the Elite Eight. Michigan State was really close to beating Auburn. Then it wouldn't be all 1 seeds. Texas Tech should have been in the Final Four, but
Blew it.
what the heck happened to them?
Yeah.
After in the previous round, they made a historic comeback.
Yeah.
They then blew a historic lead almost to Florida, and that was just ugly in general. But so then we were close. Then we wouldn't be talking about all 1 seeds anyway. I think, if anything, this would have been, and it might get more drastic next year, I think, potentially, of being more chalk, just because I'm curious to see what's going to happen that now we are out of the COVID era. Like, all the guys that got those extensions are gone. So we are back to, regular time for players. But the problem is we're seeing more movement than ever with the transfer portal. What was it? Day one that there was
Day one, it was like 300 to 400.
yeah, a couple
The
hundred
next day,
guys.
it was over 700, and it's gone over.
And we saw
Yeah.
top guys, like we said, Bennett Sturts, Donovan Dent, all transferring out. So, who knows? And that's not even the extent of as we
Yeah.
move along that
And,
more guys.
and Bennett Sturts is one of the few cases of it makes complete sense.
Right.
He's following his coach
yeah.
to a higher level, so that makes sense.
He's trying to make more money. At this
Yeah.
point, yes, there is some guys that it's about the money, and I can't blame them.
Exactly.
And then you want to play higher level competition. So I get it. It's sort of unfortunate, but you understand it for the players. So it's kind of hard. It's a new thing that we're still learning about. Trey Holloman, again, transferring out was kind of a surprise because of, everybody's like, oh, he kissed the logo and now he's going to leave. He was Izzo's glue guy and now he's going to leave.
It was more for me how emotional he was after that last game and how much it was clear that he loves MSU.
Right.
So it was kind of puzzling of a day or two later he hits the transfer portal.
Right.
Maybe him and Izzo just weren't connecting anymore. I don't know.
Yeah. It's interesting, to say the least. So, yeah, other than that, I think the tournament's been okay. It wasn't super exciting. Again, I think for me, it wasn't necessarily the upsets that didn't happen. It was more so just the blowouts. There was a lot of 20-point wins. That was a little bit obnoxious. I would have just liked closer wins, a chance for an upset or something, but that never happened. So I don't know. Overall, I always love the tournament. I'm never going to knock it. The funny thing for me too is this year I actually went a little bit chalkier with my brackets, and to a degree it worked out, but to another degree it just didn't, because I had Clemson in the Final Four of one of mine. So immediately day one, as usual, just has been brutal to me the last couple of years. So kind of funny. What would you say your overall experience was? Did you enjoy the tournament, or something that you didn't like about it?
I mean, I've enjoyed it. I mean, I don't always go in expecting big time upset. There'll always be at least one or two.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I just watch for the basketball and for the good games. Even when there's blowouts, I like the storylines, the certain players, guys that their names blow up in the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
That's the stuff I like. And yeah, I just enjoy the basketball.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm not disappointed. I'm really not.
Okay. So basically, tournament is kind of come and gone. Like I said, it's going to be over this weekend. We got Florida, Duke, Auburn, and Houston in the Final Four. Do you think has your champion changed at all during this time, or?
I mean, I had Duke winning, so I still have them winning.
To me, Duke still looks almost flawless.
In a lot of ways, they have every piece that they needed to play at a high level. They have. Especially Tyrese Proctor has risen his draft stock so high. He's shooting 60-something% from three. It is amazing watching them play.
Right, and I think for me too, the other big thing is I was big on Florida going in, and a lot of people were because they had their good SEC run, but they've looked a little off at times. And Duke, I just have not seen them be off yet. And I think their Final Four matchup against Houston is going to be really fun because it's kind of like offense versus defense.
Yeah.
But the hard thing is, like, Duke plays pretty good defense, too. Like, they're not just a one-sided team. And then Florida-Auburn is going to be a lot of fun for another SEC matchup. They've seen each other plenty this year, so that'll be a good finish there. So I'm excited about the Final Four games. And I would be happy if it goes to the final that I predicted of Duke and Florida. I think that would be the best outcome as far as championship games. But right now I don't see anybody knocking off Duke. Like, it just doesn't seem possible.
Yeah, I honestly don't see it either. They're like 8 deep of guys that are all contributing at a high level. Either you go to Caleb Foster, you go to their backup big, I forgot his last name, but number 21.
Mm-hmm.
When Malawach comes out, he comes in and the drop off isn't that big.
Yeah.
He plays defense. He scores easy buckets in the paint. Like, everybody does their job they do exactly what they're supposed to do.
Yeah. Cooper Flagg drawing all the attention.
Yeah, I think people have kind of forgotten Caleb Evans. Like, he's somewhat fallen like out of the rotation in this stretch, and they're still playing at a high level. Like, Con Knipple also, like, he might be like near the end of the lottery in the teens.
Yeah,
because he's a knockdown shooter. He plays hard. He can score at the bucket too. Like, they've got so many guys that are dangerous. And my personal favorite is Sion James.
Yeah, he's been really good.
He's 6'5", like almost 220. He's like diesel.
Yeah.
But he's a real point guard. Like, he brings the ball up. He's a good decision maker. He's a knockdown shooter. And he can score in the paint and just bully people, like, going to the rim. Like, I love his style of play. So.
Oh, you're thinking of Patrick
it's like Gongba. Yeah. He's a
freshman.
Him and Malawach, both freshmen.
Yeah, which is just crazy.
But, yeah, Sion James, he's like their X factor to me because he does everything they need him to do.
Yeah.
Play, make, score. Whenever they need it, he does it.
Right.
So, yeah, John Shire, they put together a hell of a roster. And it almost sounds like I'm crowning a champion already, but
I mean,
like we said, they haven't shown many flaws at this point.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people are there with you though. Like, it just right now, unless we see something in this Final Four game, it just doesn't look like they're gonna lose.
Yeah,
and I don't know, that's just how it's been. But we haven't seen Duke do that kind of in a while, so I really don't mind this Duke team, which is weird for me to say.
Watching them is like, it's not like the Zion team where it was like Zion and RJ and then everybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like those last few Coach K teams. It's so balanced.
Right.
And Coach K did have some balanced teams those last few years, but every piece fits. And for those, like, it's been a while for Duke since every piece fit. Like, they've always had the 5-star guys. They come in, they play great, they go straight to the draft, but they don't go deep in the tournament. Like, this team, they're a true team.
Yeah. And just think if Cooper Flagg comes back. There's those rumors out there. Could you imagine?
It would be insane. At that point, I'd almost want him to pull something crazy. And, like, his brother is going to Maine. Just go to Maine your second year, go home and just say, F it.
Just try it.
Yeah. You're going to be the number 1 pick.
I
Take
love
Maine
being
to the
a
tournament
Blue
and see
Devil,
what happens.
but I'm just going to go to Maine.
I'm going home and playing with my brother Ace. I'd love it. I would personally love it.
Maine, this is for you.
Can you imagine how much money they would pay him to come back home?
I don't know if they
that
have
university
that kind
might
of
go
money. Do
bankrupt.
they have that kind of money?
Listen, did you see there was a school that played in the tournament? I can't remember the name. Once they got eliminated, they had to go from D1 to D3.
Yeah, I did see that.
Maine might have to do that if they did that because their money would be gone after a year.
Yeah, that's wild too. I do remember. I wish I could remember what school that was.
I don't think is it Radford? I can't remember. It's one of the 2 schools that got eliminated the first weekend.
Yeah, I don't remember. Anyway, so tournament's been pretty fun as usual. But the other big basketball news is the Detroit Pistons. I can't believe I'm saying it.
Hey man,
and
42 wins.
I'm not, I'm never gonna be Chris. I'm never gonna be a Slappy. I mean, I guess maybe if things come to fruition next year that they make one big move or something. But I like this team. I like where they're at. They're headed in the right direction. Finally, there's some fire. There's some fun behind this team.
And the grit is back.
Yeah.
Which can be good and bad. But
right.
they have a culture. They have an identity for the first time in since Chauncey.
Yeah. And we are
And Ben
one
Wallace.
win away from officially being a playoff team.
Yeah.
Not a play-in team, a playoff team, which I think is a big difference, to be honest.
The next 3 games, Raptors, Grizzlies, Kings. It's right there. All 3 games.
Although the Grizzlies are kind of trending in the right direction somewhat now that they've fired Taylor Jenkins, which is wild.
Still crazy, yeah.
They're still a top team. So if they can beat the Grizzlies, I think that would be a good win down the stretch.
It's at home, so
Yeah.
it's winnable.
The problem is they have a chance, or kind of had a chance. They've kind of blown it because the Pacers went on a run.
Yeah.
There was a chance they could have gotten home court advantage, and there technically still is, but it's a lot harder now because if you look at the last 3 games that the Pistons play, it is wild.
Knicks, Bucks.
And
Can I call my shot right now?
go for it.
I think they go 2-1.
In those 3 games?
Yeah. The Knicks have lost so much moment. I think nobody is like super confident in the Knicks right now. Until Jalen Brunson comes back in the playoffs,
Yeah.
that nobody is afraid of the Knicks.
Mm-hmm.
What are the Bucks?
Okay.
Like, Giannis is Giannis.
Right.
What are the Bucks outside of it? They're behind us for a reason.
I don't know. They
like
just,
the Kyle Kuzma trade has not worked out in their favor. Honestly,
I don't think it's been terrible though. Like I don't think he's been.
they've just been solid.
Like,
They've just been solid.
Yes, they lost to it.
Like they are a 6 seed.
They went on a pretty big losing streak to some other good teams, but like in those games, Kyle Kuzma had 25, 20, 10, 15. He's kind of all over the place, which
Yeah.
kind of Kyle Kuzma. I mean, the biggest thing obviously is that they lost Damian Lillard, which I guess we haven't even talked about, but he had found a blood clot in his calf or something.
It was in his leg. I can't remember.
Somewhere in his leg.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's deemed deep vein thrombosis. But I mean, at the same time, like they're a deep enough team that I wouldn't take them lightly. I would say. So
Are they that deep?
I think so. Like, I mean,
This is what I'm saying. Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't trust Doc Rivers still.
yeah.
Darvin Ham is his second guy in command,
Mm-hmm.
and the roster is all right. But like when you see the moves they've made,
Mm-hmm.
have you seen what AJ Johnson has been doing for the Wizards?
Yeah.
They drafted him when they should have drafted Terrence Shannon.
Mm-hmm.
They draft a guy that's going to help you right now. They draft AJ Johnson as a project. They don't play him. Then they trade him, and now he's showing what he could be. And why? Like I don't have a good feeling about Milwaukee outside of Giannis.
Yeah.
Overall, I don't feel where the excitement or like the hope comes from.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's excitement or hope that I have. I just, again, like when you have a superstar.
That's
like,
why I said Giannis is the one thing.
So like,
He's the one thing.
but to me, that's like the
And he
slight.
can keep them afloat.
That's like the slight difference that they have, almost to the Pistons, especially because Cade now coming off the injury just doesn't make me feel good.
I don't think he's that hurt.
I
But
don't-
that's
I don't
another
either.
conversation.
I don't either.
I
I'm
think
not like,
they're being safe like every team does with superstars near the end of the
Yeah.
season.
but like you said, people aren't afraid of the Knicks, so the
Yeah.
Bucks could knock off the Knicks.
They could.
So, I don't know.
But if Jalen Brunson is back, I have confidence in the Knicks beating them.
Yeah, I don't know. I still think the Bucks are just. There's just a tough matchup for this team. I think.
I mean, they're
for
a
the
playoff
Pistons.
team. They have Giannis. I understand what you're saying. But they just don't fear me. They really don't.
Yeah.
Outside of the Greek Freak.
Yeah. So it's a fairly tough stretch for the Pistons, but yeah, because they're 3 back of the Pacers, and the Pacers get the Jazz, the Nuggets. Nuggets are tough, but then they get the Wizards, Cavs, Magic, Cavs.
Yeah,
Okay.
we there's no reason to even talk about the Pacers.
But
Like,
as soon as they beat the Jazz and the Wizards, they're already going to beat the Pistons. So, yeah, they're pretty much stuck at the 5 or the 6 seed. I think the 5 seed would be the most exciting because they play the Pacers in the first round. Bring back the rivalry, please.
Yeah.
It'll make me feel like a kid again, and I'd be really excited for the playoff series just because there's been that slight beef between the teams that's building that could get even better if the Pistons could do something against them. So it's kind of exciting. The Pistons just got into a brawl with the Timberwolves the other night, which was fun, quote unquote, to see. People are talking about the bad boys.
I had a smile on my face the entire time it was happening.
Yeah.
It was tough them going into the front row.
Mm-hmm.
Like a few fans could have gotten hurt. Luckily they weren't.
Yeah.
But like they were grabbing and shoving.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was no blood all over the place. Like it was just a normal NBA scuffle.
And I'm kind of glad too that it was like it wasn't like the Pistons necessarily starting it. Like, yeah, Ron must have said something.
Isaiah Stewart was going back and forth with Dante DiVincenzo beforehand.
Yeah.
But that still gives no excuse for what happened.
So Ron said something to Naz Reid, and then Naz Reid got all offended by it, which you're going to let a rookie get in your head? Like, to me, that was a little sad to see. And so then they got in it, and then it looked like Dante just wanted to go.
He started the physical stuff.
He wanted to just
like
go.
Naz Reid just had his finger in Ron Holland's face.
Yeah, and so,
I understand why Ron Holland would like push him away
mm-hmm.
because like get out of my face.
Right.
Dante DiVincenzo just takes it over at that point.
Yeah, he just puts his forearm in Ron's neck, which is kind of funny to be honest. And then they just kind of go at it, and of course Isaiah Stewart wants to get involved. And I think the funny thing that people were talking about though is that Isaiah Stewart had no stats. And then he fouled out because of that.
Opposing fans are going like super hard on Isaiah Stewart, and it's. How do I say this? He is a quality role player in this league, and he's been one of the best defenders in the league.
Yeah.
Is it funny that he starts this stuff often?
Mm-hmm.
It's funny, but I think he should be respected as a player. And I think a lot of opposing fans like poke fun at him and say like he shouldn't be respected as an NBA player.
Yeah.
I think that's ridiculous.
I'm conflicted.
That's the one thing I'd say.
And we had this conversation like a week or so ago because you had mentioned that he's kind of like the emotional.
He's the heart of the team right now.
But like I brought up the point of he would be like a trade piece.
And I understood what you were saying when we were saying that. But, like, as this team is built right now,
mm-hmm.
like, you need Isaiah Stewart for what this team is right now.
And, I mean, obviously it wouldn't happen until the offseason.
Yeah.
But he's one of those guys like.
And it would be a split opinion among Pistons fans also.
Yeah, it would be. He could be like, for some people, maybe he's a fan favorite. For other people, they think he's just kind of a novelty, which I'm on the border of that. I don't know how to feel about him.
Because he's such a high-level defender.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can't remember how many minutes he plays, but I saw a stat that said, like, if he played over 20 minutes a game,
mm-hmm.
he would be an all-defensive selection.
Yeah.
But he gets rotation minutes.
Yeah.
But, like, he's blocking shots every game. He's active. He can guard 1 through 4. Well, almost 1 through 5 at times. He's a very good player.
Yeah. I just don't think he provides enough elsewhere to be
like I don't need him to average like 12, 13 points a game. Like the little hook shots and like the occasional 2 threes, I'm fine with that.
But I think that's why he's
not a nothing on offense.
He doesn't get the more minutes. Like he just gets below rotation kind of guy.
But
almost.
the fact that he also accepts that,
that's okay.
That adds to it to me.
But I think people
like he knows who he is right now.
Yeah, and the bigger point that I brought up is like the Pistons are not like they're a fun team right now, but they are not at that championship caliber level.
Oh no,
that again it always happens.
Like to me they're enough to win a first round series to me.
Yeah,
and the Pacers one would be really difficult. Mm-hmm. The Knicks series would be the one. That's the one most people think would be the like upset.
Right.
If the Pistons played the Knicks.
I think the fear that I have is they can become the Detroit Lions, and they could win a playoff series here. People get all excited about the team, but then be afraid to move on from anybody from the team and be like, no, this is a championship caliber team. We can make it with this team.
Well, that's just you know how crazy fans can get.
We're seeing it with the Lions right now.
The realistic bunch like us, we know moves have to be made to go to the next level, and Pistons fans, most of them know that. The other ones would have to come to grips with it.
Yeah.
Trajan Langdon is going to do his job.
Right.
Like seeing what he's done with this first year constructing this team, you can't doubt Trajan Langdon. You just can't.
Yeah. So it's just one of those things because again, we've seen it with the Lions where people are now like, no, I don't want to spend money because we got to pay for this guy down the line. Got to pay for this guy down the line. Well, eventually down the line is the present time, and you can't wait forever because you don't know what's going to happen. So it's like, okay, you just have to try things, and you can't be stuck in mediocrity because that is the problem that the Pistons had in the past when they couldn't win a playoff series. They made the playoffs a couple times.
Yeah.
They could not win. With Reggie Jackson and
Pistons
Andre
fans
Drummond.
celebrated when they got swept by the Cavs because every game was close.
Yeah.
And I did too, and that's sad.
Yeah.
We were excited after that season.
So it's just one of those things that I just want people to prepare for, and this is why I want to talk about this with Chris at some point and get him back on the show just to do a Pistons roundup thing because we are approaching that point where we have to make tough decisions. And the thing that we keep battling with too, especially now, is the Jalen Duren thing, because he keeps going back and forth of like.
At this point, I'm with him now.
I know you are.
And I can't trade Jalen Duren now.
And I was
because
at
his age, the fact that he's 21, and it's finally starting to happen.
Yeah.
Like the second half of the season is everything we envisioned for Jalen Duren. Now he can still get better. He's only 21, obviously, but his defense has gone up.
Yeah.
His effort is constantly there. He scores around the rim when you need him to. Like,
yeah,
it's starting to happen.
Right.
And I would be afraid to give up on that right now.
Yeah. And so that's going to be the tough thing. The other one that's going to be really tough.
The Ivy thing is the one I more understand of like, he might have to go.
And honestly, the other one that's not like, I don't think I fall either way because I like the player. I like the attitude. But like, we might, like, this could be a pretty hefty contract from Malik Beasley. The way he's played this year, the money that you see from him that he would have to get might be uncomfortable.
At this point, $100 million is high-level role player money.
Yeah.
Giving Malik Beasley a 100 to me isn't crazy. The way the salary cap is going up, like
I'm just saying that's something we have to think about.
Like high-level shooters aren't getting 4 years 40 anymore.
Yeah.
It's changed.
And the other thing too is like Detroit is not a market that people are dying to come to.
Malik Beasley is in with what Detroit is right now.
So that's kind of the trade-off is like he wants to play here. It seems like so that would be a big draw, but it just might be uncomfortable for some people potentially. I don't know how people feel. I haven't figured it out.
I think most of the fan base is in on Malik now. Most of them, when I see the comment sections, they say pay him right now.
Yeah.
Like he wants to be here. He's like the second or third sole reason why they've made this turnaround.
Right. Because
he's having the best or second best year of his career.
Yeah.
So I'm with paying him.
Yeah. And so we might have, I don't know, are there 4 untouchables, 5 untouchables? Cade, Jalen Duren, Malik Beasley, and Ron, just because he's so young.
Yeah. And Asar. To me, Ron and Asar are the two that right now, I can't see them leaving.
I think Asar has
their energy and their buy-in on both ends of the floor, like
Asar has taken the place of Jalen Duren for me of like, I'm so on the edge because he's improved so much this season. Can he keep improving the shooting? And because we've seen some signs from his brother in Houston that maybe these guys do have it. Or is this as far as he can get? I don't know.
See, to me that's not a big issue because you're seeing if you surrounding Cade with shooting was the first part. Yeah. They surrounded Cade with shooting. He took the next step. It's happening. You also surround Asar with shooting. You put the ball in his hands. His playmaking went to the next level. His ability to drive to the rim went to every part of his game he got some confidence in everything.
Mm-hmm.
Now the shooting, I understand.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it's more of a free throw thing than I don't need him to take 5 threes a game.
Yeah.
If he can get up to 65, 70% free throw shooting, that would be huge.
Mm-hmm.
His playmaking, he has stuff that only him and Amen have in this league.
Mm-hmm.
Like his ability to offensive rebound, catch it, hit the ground and jump back up and dunk. Like the energy he brings, the swings, like it's crazy. It's like Sean Marion stuff.
Yeah. I think the only concern that I might have is if Ron keeps developing and they become kind of the same guy.
I don't think they'll become the same guy because what were the comps for Ron? Like it was like future, potentially. I don't think it was Kawhi. Like there were Kawhi comparisons.
Yeah.
It was like elite athlete with the offensive intangibles to be like a high level all-star.
Right. I would almost compare him to like, is it crazy to say like Brandon Roy?
No, I wouldn't say Brandon Roy.
Okay.
He's more of like a small forward than a 2-guard.
Well, yeah. I guess just of like, I felt like Brandon Roy improved his shooting as his seasons went on.
Kawhi has become the model for all guys that are raw offensively and just have like defense and athleticism.
Yeah.
That's become the model. But yeah, whatever you think, I've heard, give credit to Bill Simmons. Ron Artest was what he said. And I think that's a really good comp. That goes back to like, he gives you, he averaged like 17, 18 a game, but he was a monster on defense and gave you everything every game.
Yeah.
The energy.
But that's where I see like, okay, if you had a guy that's like Ron Artest, do we really need a SAR? You know what I'm saying?
He's so
Because if we can have
rare.
a guy that plays two sides of the ball that has improved his offense, and then a SAR still too slowly improving his offense, I don't know. I guess that's just the concern. And I'm not saying it's right or wrong, whichever way you go, but that's just my one concern. Maybe those guys turn into the same guy.
The point forward thing with Asar is why I think you need to keep him.
Yeah.
He is such a good playmaker, especially like when you give him the minutes and the leeway to like go out there and make decisions and play in the pick and roll, especially.
Mm-hmm.
Like he can dish and make things happen just off of instinct. Him and his brother both have incredible instincts and athleticism, and they both like are growing into it. I'm in potentially becoming an all-star next year, but Asar is just so rare.
Mm-hmm.
The things he does, I'd be afraid to lose him.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. It starts to get hard. You got to start thinking about that kind of stuff. Like, it's one of those things. Like, I don't know where this team goes. I don't know exactly how to fix it because, like Tim Hardaway Jr. is pretty inconsistent. And if we get rid of Jaden Ivey,
I could understand swapping Tim Hardaway for another vet. I could understand that.
Right. And that's like a replaceable kind of veteran shooter that you can get almost anywhere. And that's what I've said about Isaiah Stewart. Like, sure, he's one of the better defenders, but you could find somebody that's just as good or maybe a little bit below, but shoots the ball a little bit better, maybe gives you something offensively that you can look for. Tim Hardaway Jr., Tobias is another one of those guys that, like, sure, it stinks if he would have to leave again, but
that's where I would say Trajan Langdon, that's an important one for me.
Yeah.
If you lose Tobias, who for the first half of the season I wasn't happy with it.
Mm-hmm.
Second half of the season, I've loved what he's done for this team. Second half of the season, whenever they need him to score 20, he does it,
mm-hmm.
and he plays like old man, just like easy scoring basketball. I would need him to replace Tobias with someone that is also like automatic. I know, give me the ball. I know where I'm going. I know what to do. I know my spots.
Mm-hmm.
Like to me, you just can't fall off with a decent guy.
Yeah.
You got to replace Tobias with a short thing.
Mm-hmm. And so I think, again, that just goes back to there will be tough decisions down the road that you have to figure out. Who are you willing to give up? Who are you not willing to give up? Because outside, we've obviously talked about Devin Booker would be ideal, perfect fit, like 100% go all in for Devin Booker. But is there another guy that you could think of that you would slot in that you'd be more willing to give up Tobias or somebody that's on that edge?
I mean, the scenario you brought up a few weeks ago when we were texting about the Pistons, when you brought up the Sabonis thing,
Mm-hmm.
I would be on board with giving away like Ivy, Stewart, and future picks.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe you throw in Fontecchio or like Lindy Waters so to give him an extra shooter.
Yeah.
But package them, send them to Sacramento, give us Sabonis. You got Sabonis and Durant together. It could work.
Because my point was you keep that playmaking ability that Sabonis has to use the pick and roll. I think it'd be super dangerous. But that's one of those trades that it could be on the fence for a lot of people because you could give up Jaden and Stu and then a couple first-round picks or something, and maybe they fire back and they say, we don't want Beef Stew. We want Asar.
Yeah,
then you're giving up.
It gets tough.
Then you're giving up Jaden, Asar, and maybe a first or two firsts.
That's when it gets hard.
That's where you get in your really tricky scenarios.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, I think I would still do it. Now, I'm biased because
I might still do it too.
I'm biased because of how much I like Sabonis, and I think he could get us to the next level.
Also, because of Ron's offensive progress lately.
Right. And that's all my point.
It would hurt me, but yeah.
Yeah.
It would almost be like another Sadiq Bey where I was all in on Sadiq and then they traded him.
Right.
Like, I'm all in on Asar right now.
Or it's like the first round with Tobias. Like, he was a fan favorite for a lot.
He was my favorite player of that Pistons era.
And so it's just something that we're going to have to figure out. And there's not a lot of other names that have been thrown out there that like, oh, I would want that for sure. Like right now, Kevin Durant's being thrown around that he's drawing interest from other teams. Obviously, we're not going to be in that kind of deal. But like those are the things we have to look out for is like those secondary stars. I mean, Devin Booker is kind of superstar level, but something that we have to look at about upgrading the team is going to be really tricky because, again, we're not a free agent destination. The Lions have kind of become that because of the culture. Can the Pistons do that? Not necessarily, I don't think, because basketball is just a different beast altogether. But I don't know. Is there another guy that you could think of that you would really like the fit of this team, even if it's unrealistic, that you just think would fit and slot into this team, that would help this team, that you would be willing to give up one of those Asar type guys?
There's an easy one that you could go back to that had rumors early in the season, like the Zach LaVine thing, because I think it's not working in Sacramento. He's only been there for like a month and a half, and it's clear like most of them aren't happy.
Yeah.
So it probably wouldn't take a lot to get Zach LaVine. Like it would probably just take like Ivy, Fontecchio, and like some picks.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably all it would take. That Zach LaVine would probably fit next to Cade, but I feel like in the near future, even going into next season, do you want to pair Cade, Ivy, and Ron? Do you want to pair Cade and Ron? Like that's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to the guard you put next to Cade, that's where I can't figure out, like, I can't gauge where you go.
Yeah.
Because there are a bunch of good young guards. There are some good vets that could be open. But, yeah, what's the fit next to Cade?
Right.
That's all what it comes down to.
Do you want a more traditional point guard to put him off ball a little bit more? Do you want the ball in his hands? And then you have somebody that can stretch the floor better, a better shooter than Jaden Ivey is, and things like that.
No,
yeah.
Zach LaVine takes pressure off of Cade.
Right.
So that would be an easy one. But, like, yeah, it's a lot to think about.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I said. That just goes back to the point of, like, Pistons are going to have to make some hard decisions. And I don't know. It's hard to say where they go. And maybe we'll find out more during the playoffs. Because that's the other fun thing. We get to watch them during the playoffs. We get to see them in very meaningful games in a series against one team. Can they get a win? They haven't had a playoff win in, 2008 or something, they said? Which is wild. I definitely thought they had one in between there, but they have not won a playoff game since 2008, when Chauncey Billups was on the team.
And I believe I was at the last playoff series. I was there when they beat the Orlando Magic, I think in game 1 at home in 2008. I think that was the last series they won. Because when they got Allen Iverson and LeBron just...
Yeah. So it'll be interesting nonetheless. I'm excited for it because I'm going to be able to watch more Pistons games than I have all year because they're going to be in the playoffs. I haven't watched enough games. I watched the one when they were rescheduled to TNT. Was the last night's game?
It was on ESPN.
Yeah, because it got flexed.
Yeah.
But it was crazy here because of the rain and all that, and my basement had a little bit of flooding, so I wasn't really paying attention. So I didn't watch that one, but I watched the previous one. Was that was the Heat game? Was that
the last one on ESPN? Yeah, where Cade hit the
got
game
flexed
winner.
to the Heat, to ESPN, which was cool to see. But that's about it because I don't pay for FanDuel or whatever. So I'm excited to just watch the team more in depth because I don't really get to outside of highlights and things. So that's kind of the fun part. But again, I would like to see the Pacers, I think, over the Knicks. I know the Knicks are the more likely, like, oh, we could beat the Knicks, but I want the Pacers because it'd be fun. And do you think they're going to win a playoff game?
I think they win multiple playoff games.
Because they're one game away from getting in the playoffs, so they're basically locked.
I think they play the Knicks. I think it either goes to 7 or they potentially win. The Pacers have their number this year. Mm-hmm. Anything could happen in the playoff series, but I think they could win 2 games against the Pacers. I don't know if they could take them to 7. Mm-hmm. It'd be really tough.
Yeah. I think it'd be fun either way.
Yeah. Before we move on from the Pistons, I was at a bar watching the Michigan and Michigan State games last weekend, and the Pistons game happened to come on at the same time when they played the Cavs, and I think that was the Pistons' best regular season win in years.
Yeah.
Them beating a fully healthy Cavs team without Cade and Tobias, like that game made me proud of the Pistons, and I can't say I've felt that since I was a kid.
Yeah.
Like it was something to watch, and Donovan Mitchell did everything he could to like go off in the fourth and win them the game. Mm-hmm. But that type of game, I don't think the Milwaukee Bucks can win those types of games.
Yeah,
that's another reason why I'm not afraid of them. The Pistons showed like they have so much chemistry, and they're so locked in as a team with JB Bickerstaff that they're not afraid of playing anybody.
Yeah,
even if Tobias is out. They know what the game plan is. They know how to play off of each other, and they know what they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
But Milwaukee is like, give the ball to Giannis. And Kyle Kuzma, you'll hit some shots, maybe. Like, I don't know what Milwaukee's plan is.
Yeah. We'll see. I don't know. Because the Pistons did lose to didn't they lose to Dallas right after Dallas had all those injuries?
I think it was before. I think it was before the Cleveland game. Let me see.
Yeah. I mean, it was earlier, and I said something about, well, that's not good. And you and Chris said something about they could win.
They lost to Dallas. They beat the Pelicans. They won 3 straight after losing to Dallas.
Yeah.
They beat the Pelicans. They beat the Spurs, and they beat the Cavs.
So it's just one of those things, basketball, that happens all the time. So I don't want to take too much away from the Cavs game, but it was a good win either way. So yeah. Outside of that, in the NBA,
there are some interesting things happening, good and bad.
Yeah, the Eastern Conference is pretty weak, I would say, besides Cleveland and Boston.
Have you noticed how Orlando has hit a wall?
Yeah. Paolo's not playing nearly as good as he was.
But outside of Paolo and Franz, like, their offense is, like, bad.
Yeah.
Like, they do not – them drafting, like, 6 guards over 7 years, I think it's starting to backfire on them.
Yeah.
Because none of them are consistent on offense. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know what Anthony Black is going to become at this point.
Yeah.
The Caleb Houston pick, like, he hits a few threes every other game, but it's still not happening.
Right.
It's getting kind of weird in Orlando.
Yeah.
They don't look very good.
Like I said, Paolo's he's kind of been inefficient lately, so that's been kind of hurtful for them. But, yeah, the rotation of, like, Cole Anthony still hanging around, Anthony Black.
Yeah.
Like you said. I mean,
Jalen Suggs has been hurt, which is also a huge part of it.
They're thinking playing Corey Joseph right now because of that.
I used to like Corey Joseph, but he's too old now. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, they're in a weird spot for sure.
I think the only team with hope, and it's insane that it's happened, is Chicago.
Yeah.
Like, Josh Giddey.
He's figured it out. He's figured it out.
He's had a stretch of games that's like, It's insane.
Yeah.
Like 20-point triple doubles are looking easy. They went to LA and just smoked them.
Yeah.
I think LeBron didn't play, but
Right.
yeah, they went to LA and smoked them. They had that crazy game where Josh Giddey hit the half court shot where LA came to Chicago.
Right.
Kobe White is playing like an all NBA player the last month. Like
Yep.
he's averaging like close to 30.
Yeah.
And Mataz Buzelis,
Mm-hmm.
I did not want the Pistons to draft him.
Neither did I.
And it looks like it might have worked out because like the core and the culture is like becoming a thing.
Yeah.
But just the history of the Pistons drafting guys like that, it was so bad.
Yeah.
Both of us were out,
Mhm.
and he looks like he's about to be a problem.
Yep. Zach Collins has been a bright spot for them.
Yeah,
off
Trey
the
Jones
bench.
has been good for them too. Yeah.
Yeah. Taylor Horton Tucker apparently scored 27 the other night. The return of Taylor Horton Tucker. But yeah, they've been solid. Now,
Your guy Kevin Herter.
yeah, he's kind of back to what he was known for, having some good games here and there, hitting some good shots. But I mean, I don't see them doing anything. But it's
Oh yeah, they're not going to do anything crazy. But the fact that Chicago has hope, like
right.
I'm happy for their fans.
Yeah,
because things are finally happening.
and they're still young, so they could do some things.
Yeah. Do they, if they get a top 5 pick, do you take Malawat from Duke?
I think
Because the Vucevic experiment has to be over soon.
I think he's the best fit for them.
And you get him, like he has like shooting potential. Like
Mhm.
his jumper looks good. He's hit some threes. He's a monster athlete.
Yeah.
It would be scary if Chicago figured out a way to get him.
Yeah, I think that would be like one of the perfect fits. I think Malawak fits a lot of teams, to be honest. So he might keep increasing his draft stock, to be honest. But yeah, I could see that for sure. And then on the Western Conference is weird too. this
Before
year.
we move on to the West,
Okay, go ahead.
it's crazy to say. It's crazy. They're at the bottom of the East. The Washington Wizards are fun, Joey.
Alex Sarr is figuring it out.
Him and Zachary Rizashea.
He's figuring it
They
out.
are doing things. Zachary Rizashea had 36 last week.
Mm-hmm.
Alex Sarr has been like a walk-in like 18 and 10 for a few weeks.
Yeah.
And he's hitting threes.
Mm-hmm.
They got AJ Johnson from Milwaukee. He's looking like he has all types of game.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan Poole looks like he's having fun again.
Bob
Like,
Carrington's still been playing
yeah.
good.
I think I saw the stat earlier. They're the first team in NBA history, I think, with 3 rookies that have all hit over 100 threes.
Yeah.
Bub Carrington, Alex Sarr, which is really good, and then
Keyshawn George.
yeah, Keyshawn George. Yeah, and they all play hard. They're all like the
Mhm.
fact that they're all like mentally into it in Washington,
Yeah.
and they're all like really together.
Mhm.
That's a good sign for Washington.
Yeah.
Now, who knows what will actually happen in
Right.
the coming seasons, but Washington has a little hope.
And maybe Cooper Flagg will want to go play there.
Hey, it would be huge if he got to Washington because
Yeah.
those young guys, they play hard.
Yeah. But real quickly, we have like 2 minutes.
Okay.
The Western Conference,
OKC's insane.
kind of a mess. Like Houston is the 2 seed still.
Everybody between 3 and 6 just keeps like alternating between a spot and 2.
Yeah, everybody's at like 40 wins. It's just weird. I mean, the fun one, of course, you know me. Golden State is now in the 5th seed,
Yeah.
which is such a good turnaround for them.
Steph had another vintage legendary game the other night.
The sad part is right now where it stands, they're playing Denver in the first round. Now that's a fun matchup.
Yeah.
But that's not a fun first round matchup for me.
Another historic game, 61-10-10 by Nikola Jokic that was ruined by the Brody, Russell Westbrook.
Oh, people have things to say about Russell Westbrook.
Yeah.
But
I'm excited for the Clippers. If Kawhi can stay healthy in the playoffs.
I'm
I love what they've done this season.
not holding my breath for that team.
Memphis is in the 8th seed.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea how to feel about them. Ja had another thing lately. We're not even going to get into that. And Anthony Davis came back the other night and hit a game winner.
Mm-hmm.
35, 15, and 5 blocks.
Yep. Hey,
But I still think Nico Harrison should be fired.
Mavericks are in a playing game, okay? So, joke's on you.
If they don't win a championship in the next 2 years, it was for nothing.
Although the Lakers are all the way up to the 3 seed now, so.
Austin Reeves is becoming.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
they're
something.
letting Luka take over now, and
He still hasn't looked the same yet, but
no, but he's had some
Yeah.
games here and there.
he has.
So Yeah, I'm actually like slightly intrigued by the NBA playoffs.
Yeah, and Phoenix is awful.
Yeah,
It's unexplainable how bad they are, but
Yeah.
Phoenix is terrible.
I know we talked about it before, but it's
Yeah, and they went into the ball experience, and he looked good for a few games, and it meant nothing.
Yeah.
Bring Bol back to Detroit. He'll pass the physical this time.
Maybe if they had Bol and Mo Bamba together, like I've always told teams to do. Anyway,
I don't even know what to say to that.
and with that, that's views from the sidelines. We're gonna have to talk. We'll talk about the championship for the tournament. We'll get into more playoff talk for basketball. But the next time that we're on, which is in 2 weeks, we are right around the corner from the NFL draft. We have to talk about the NFL draft, which is wild.
Yeah.
I haven't even done a deep dive into the draft yet, so that's gonna be crazy.
Time to start taking some notes, watching some videos.
Oh man, I mean I know a little bit, but it's gonna be crazy. And so yeah, things are moving quick, moving fast. But we'll see you guys in 2 weeks, and enjoy the Masters. Enjoy Texas, Malik.
Yeah.